Welcome to the HU Movemakers podcast, where we highlight folks that are blazing the trail and making moves in Howard culture. Hello and welcome to the HU Movemaker podcast, where we highlight Howard folks that are trailblazers and making moves in the world. Today, got a very special guest in the building, a man I've been trying to track down. And if you follow him on social media, I'm sure you probably got questions for him too. But internationally acclaimed, award-winning actor, Spike Lee veteran, Strictly Business, Crooklyn, Dead Presidents, Girl 6, Get on the Bus, Clockers, Love Jones, Romeo Must Die, two-time NAACP Image Award winner, Screen Actors Guild, Bionic Woman, TV guys, Sexiest Men. I need it. What up with that, man? People's 50 most beautiful people. How you get on these lists, man? I need to get on the list, man. Hey,
man, you got to have a good publicist. Pay about $3,000 a month and they can buy you anything, baby, like the politicians, baby. They can make you anything they want you to be, baby.
Yo, Sierra Leone, we got to talk about that. I know that's something special. Served in the Air Force, does a lot of service work at the LA Food Bank, does a lot, Sierra Leone, W.E.B. Du Bois, Martin Luther King, Adam Clayton Powell, Marcus Garvey, Blue Bloods. For those of you who can't go back to the Spike Lee era, Blue Bloods, P-Valley. Of course, we're going to talk about Grey's Anatomy. Come on, man. We got to talk about Grey's Anatomy. But none other than Isaiah Washington, producer, director, actor. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm glad I was able to do it, man. Yeah, I got caught up. My apologies, but I got caught up in all this, business stuff and stuff at the end of the year. But here we are.
Yes, sir. So, you smoking a stogie? What's that? A Cuban?
No, it's not a Cuban. From Nicaragua, man. Julieta. Yeah, No, actually, this is a Rocky. It's not either. It's a Rocky Patel. I think the leaf is from Nicaragua. I think. Don't get me lying.
So we can start out, man. I was watching some of your past interviews, man. You said sometimes you gotta disappear. You remember that? You remember that quote? Sometimes you gotta disappear, go down from come back from the surface, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the business for 30 years. Got, as you just quoted, I got a lot of work out there on and off screen. A lot of people don't know about my off screen work and the history that I've made, but in Bison form, I try to be a best innovator and progenitor and innovator and trailblazer as I possibly can. You only have one life, like Jackie Robinson says. So, what people say about you once you're gone, your legacy. You're born the hyphen between the year you're born, 1963, and the year I die. Everything in between should be the thing that matters, not the day I was born and the day I died, So I've always remembered that and try to stay focused on that and try to be the best human being I could be. Try to be the best, role model that I can be and stay true to myself based on, critical thinking. What I feel, we've lost. I cherish and treasure going through the halls of Howard University because I was surrounded by a lot of critical thinkers, man, people that stood, up for themselves and spoke out when they thought, something was right and they thought something was wrong, and they stood true to it, It seems like today we got a lot of people just kind of go with whatever social media is telling you to go. They don't really do the research. They don't really have the knowledge, So all the leadership is lacking, obviously. So, I do what I do. I do what I can. People agree with it. Some people don't. I don't really care. I'm riding with what I know. 57 years on this planet.
How do you develop that mindset? Because I want to get into some of your posts on Instagram are crazy and fearless. I mean, it seems and unapologetic. How did you get to the point where I guess you really got to a point where, I'm going to exercise my freedom of speech, for lack of better words. And how did you get to that point to be so comfortable doing that?
It's a constitutional right. The First Amendment is backed up by the Second Amendment. Some people use the Fifth Amendment, but they are already guilty, so they don't say anything. I think at this point in my life and my career, I can no longer be silent about things that I believe in just because people don't want to hear it, or they're not comfortable with it, or they don't agree with it. And the beauty about America to this day, it's still a free country. It's one of the few countries where we do have a freedom of speech. The problem is that we've gotten through social media, got through this cancel culture where people can try to, undermine you and destroy you in your mind and your brand because they don't agree with you. And that's the problem. I don't know how that's going to be corrected. Maybe legislation will be put out there where people have to be more accountable for what they do and what they say on social media. We may live to see that. Bullies are everywhere. I've never been a fan of a bully. I've never been a bully. If I did something wrong, I'll say it. I'll tell you that I did it wrong. But if I've been, lied on or cheated or mistreated, at this point in my life, then I'm going to tell it like it is. This is what it is, as they would say, the kids would say in the street, fuck what you heard. If you got a problem with me, come to me. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm not going to be on this planet is a liar. We got enough of those, right? So I'm going to always speak my truth to power. And sometimes, people who haven't lived the longest I have for 57 years, they assume that I'm so far away from what the reality of what's going on in the world on the streets that I don't really understand. But you don't get to be 57 if you don't understand or overstand. You got, at some point, somebody's going to listen to me or want to hear what I have to say.
It's so much I want to get into, man, from your time at Howard to your political beliefs to your work, your acting. I mean, your acting that's like a whole year of a show. But I mean, even, what I thought was compelling is the dual citizenship that means a lot to you in Sierra Leone. Can you just talk to me about, we'll start with Howard. What made you decide to go to Howard?
Well, when I first started off in the private sector in Gaithersburg, Maryland, I was working for a company called Solve Fairchild Industries in 1986. I was walked out the door when the space shuttle blew up. People started cutting programs and cutting costs and cutting employees. So I was one of those persons that, was walked out the door and was pretty much overqualified as an aerospace engineer. My background in the Air Force, pretty much counting aircraft parts for that company. And then found myself temping at IBM. And I was a temp there through Kelly's Temp. And did my job pretty good. I was working in logistics where, I actually pay, what do they call it? People that were late on their payments. I was like a collector. And the head of the company really got, I got on his radar because I was making the company money. I was getting people creatively to pay their bills on time, and at the point where I thought I was going to actually be employed full time, I had a crush on a young lady named Cynthia, and she was a born again Christian, and she wanted me to audition for this play called Frankenbeans for the church, where I ended up playing a gay character that was HIV was like COVID. It was a big scary thing. People didn't understand it, didn't understand how to control it or defend people from it. It's particularly in the gay community. So I wanted to put a face on that, and the play was really received well. And I got the bug for acting, and my musical director Malcolm.
So just out of that, you just got in acting. Got in acting.
Yeah, I did it just as a goof, as an opportunity to try to date this woman in the church.
That's a deep role, though. That's a deep role.
Well, yeah, but I was just trying to, get laid. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to become born again.
That reminds me of the Fresh Prince when he was Raphael De La Ghetto, when he was trying to be a poet to get with old girl.
Right, and next thing I know, I became born again, and I felt I was more in love with Jesus than the girl, and had no interest in her. I'm more interested in the plays. And Malcolm gave me this book by Oscar Brockett, and I read about Ossie Davis being a Howard Players, and he said, "You need to take this seriously. You have some serious talent."
Wow.
And I started going to various auditions for backstage. Didn't know what I was doing. Auditioned for Can, couldn't dance, did some bad pirouettes. I didn't know what a PK turn was at the time because I had no real dance training. But I was trying to get through the door, and the guys had fun with me, had me doing cartwheels and whatnot, playing around with me. I didn't get the job because I wasn't trained and didn't deserve it. But eventually, I just kept auditioning, and found myself on the campus because of Oscar Davis and the Howard Players. Got to Howard University in '86, only to realize that the Howard Players was an international marching band. The theater group had already been defunct. But I got a chance to audit some classes through Vera Katz, who's now in her 80s, almost 90. She became my mentor and allowed me to take some acting classes. I continued to audition for DC Stage, various plays and theater companies in DC locally, and started to earn my bones and respect as an actor on the boards, or what we call it in theater, on stage.
So how old were you when you got to Howard?
Oh, man, I had already been divorced, military for 4 years. I was 23 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was only there for like a semester, man.
Okay.
But I worked so hard, did spell number 7 by Indazaki Shangaze, my juries. I had worked so hard and so fast. You know, I was sleeping in my car. I was homeless when I got to Howard University. I was sleeping on some of my classmates' bathtub in their bedrooms, in their dorm rooms and whatnot. I finally got working money, and I was able to split some costs for a room with one of my classmates to get the class in their apartment. And I ran out of money. I couldn't afford it. My mom sold the silverware and ran out of money. I couldn't afford to stay in school. So next thing I know, I auditioned for a company in New York called City Kids Repertory. And it was dealing with children at risk, called TIE, Theater and Education. And at that point, I became one of the original members of the City Kids Repertory. We brought in Lisa Nicole Carson, Malik Yoba. They were children at risk, dealing with some really, really harsh things in their lives. And we helped save their lives through theater. We would go into colleges and neighborhoods and do songs and dances and creative writing, a creative arts team at NYU. We started really making an impact with the community through arts. And that's how I got in. But I wasn't making a lot of money, but $300 a week was a lot of money in 1987, 88, 89, right? But once I started doing TV commercials, getting $3,000 checks in the mail, then I said, oh, man, I can't go back to theater, man. And then I started auditioning for soap operas, One Life to Live, As the World Turns, Guiding Lights, booked them all. And then I started making more money, and I did what I thought I would never do. I sold out the theater life because you work, and then next thing you know, you're out of work, you got to go to the unemployment office, to keep yourself solvent. And then once I started, auditioning for TV shows, booking things like Law and Order, and then finally I auditioned for a movie called Crooklyn. Yeah. And I got Spike's attention in that, and my career took off at Universal Pictures. I was one of the guys to look at, to watch. From Crooklyn to Clockers to Girl 6 to Get on the Bus.
So for that time period, you was like one of the black guys to cast.
I earned it. Mm-hmm. But you already had Don Cheadle and Grant Bush and Eric King and a lot of guys out there that were putting in work, and the Wayans brothers, but I was able to compete, because it is a competition. You gotta earn it, right? Giancarlo Esposito, James Daniels, Ben Raines.
What is that like though from somebody of your background? You said you was at Howard struggling, you sleeping in tubs and bathrooms and homeless, and now you competing with Don Cheadle's of the world and all these other, prominent actors.
Well, I put myself on a 10-year plan. Everything I do in a 10-year interims. I believe if you put a business plan together for 5 years, you're not gonna make it in 5 years. Usually people give up. If they're not where they want to be in 5 years, they give up. So I already gave myself 10 years. I said from 1986 to 1996, I'll probably have my undergrad, I'll have my aerospace, engineering degree. I'll probably have my master's in theater management by 1996. But by 1996, I was making my 4th movie with Spike Lee. I've always considered myself 4 years ahead of schedule and 4 years ahead of everybody else, in terms of creativity and being exposed with what's going on in the world and politics and the community. So my activism has always been my work. If you look at my work, I play challenging characters that people say not likable, but 9 times out of 10, they know somebody like that, or they trusted someone like that. That's what Romeo and Die was very popular, because everyone loved me. I was dressed well, I was smart, I was nice, but he was thugged out. You know what I mean? He was a straight criminal. He was a straight killer. So it really forced a lot of people, brothers particularly. I'm only an African-American man in this lifetime, so I'm always try to ride with brothers, right? And speak to you through my work. Check out who your friends are. That's what Romeo Mathai was about. It's like, everything's not what it seems. You know what I mean?
How do you prepare for roles? Because these are some
research
roles that you play.
Well, I read everything I get my hands on, and I try to use references from all over the world, from everything I read, all kinds of subject matter. I think that the fuller you are as an artist, the less is more. The more intelligent you are, the fuller you are, that people pick up on your level of thinking without you saying anything. So if you're really just an empty vessel, then you're going to give out empty work. People are not going to really, as great words as DMX, they're not going to feel you. Can you feel me? So I always pick roles where it's like, whether I couldn't get roles like, Will Smith or Wesley Snipes or Denzel, because Hollywood only picks them, don't want to pay them, fairly, treat them fairly. So it was hard to get to that, what we call that A-list level at the time, because they already had their guys, that were bankable. So they never really want to take any risk on men of color, because the lie is that, you don't have international numbers and, white people don't want to watch what you're doing, but that's not true. I always said that if Hollywood really wanted to make trillions of dollars, they would tell our stories. They would tell the stories of African-American, African Americans in American history alone could make trillions of dollars. Look at Black Panther. Look at how Black Panther did. Waited to Exhale. Fruitvale Station. When you tell our stories, they make money. Love Jones, still a classic. I can go on and on and on, but Hollywood, they resist it because they don't see themselves. They can't relate. They can't, well, if I don't see myself, I don't see myself. I feel inadequate if Isaiah's the lead and he's making love and I'm not. Because you have to understand, when people have that money, like if you had $40 million and you wanted to make, 3 movies or 4 movies, 10 million each, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to tell a white story. You're not going to do Jumanji. Yeah. You're going to try to tell your story. So I say, well, is it racism or just laziness or just self-preservation? White supremacy comes out of Hollywood. People keep talking about white supremacy, but the biggest white supremacists that are promoting white supremacy is Hollywood.
Really? What? So
they're all commercials, all white people.
Who runs Hollywood? Who runs Hollywood? White people.
White people think that white people only want to spend money, and that's not true. We spend trillions of dollars a year consuming, but they don't think of us. They don't think of us because we're not in the room. If you're not in the room, you're an insurance agent, but you don't own Allstate. Right. You don't sit on the board. You don't make the executive decisions where the money goes.
Right.
So as long as we're not in those rooms, they're not going to do anything. Nothing's going to change. You can't keep blaming it on racism. It's laziness.
How do we change that narrative though? Since having the internet and social media,
stop supporting their shit.
Yeah.
But we can't. We have a genetic gene that called tear each other down. They don't do that. They don't tear each other down. They support each other because of their skin color around the world. We're not a minority in America. We're not a minority in the world. Melanated people are not minorities, and we keep buying into the same lie.
At what point did you have that awakening?
I had that awakening by the time when I was at Howard. Did that to me.
Yeah.
I woke up because of all the books I was reading with Malcolm X and Paul Robeson, and I watched all their lives and their history, and W.E.B. Du Bois, and the struggles and the jealousy and the envy that we have to deal with is always lead us. We come up short because there's not enough of us that's sitting at the table to be able to tear each other down. That's why we can't excel, because once we get that power, get a tail, we get in that MC Hammer phase, like, how do you like me now? And then we feel like we don't want to give back. It's like, it was so hard for me to get in. I'm just going to try to keep mine. I'm going to hold on to mine. I'm not going to help anybody. I made my first million, selling drugs in the military at 19. You know what I mean? With $950,000. I left $750,000 in a hole in the ground in the Philippines. So money has never really been my agenda. Change.
Wait, what do you mean?
I was selling drugs, man. What the fuck you mean?
You mean drugs. You were selling drugs yourself?
Yeah, that's right. It's on my podcast. Isaiah Washington speaks again. Isaiah Washington speaks again. I talk about everything in my life. Everything is not what it seems, bro. Everybody got hustle. Black people have always had to hustle. We never can really make real money unless you're being a pastor, a basketball player, a rapper, or an actor. That's how you make real money.
Or some type of salesman.
Or an insurance salesman.
Wait, at 19...
Which is what I was for George Washington Mutual. I was an insurance man, but I was so bad at it, man, I got fired.
So at 19, you say you made $1 million selling drugs.
Damn near $1 million, yeah.
Damn near $1 million selling drugs. At 23, you damn near homeless.
That's right, because I didn't want to be a part of that culture. Didn't want to be a part of a military that was just gangsters working for other corporations during the 80s. Once I saw what really how corrupt it was, and it still is corrupt, I had a conscience. My mom didn't raise me that way. So I stepped away from it.
So this was something that was overseas that you were doing?
In the Philippines, that's correct.
How did you get involved in it?
I had to. Everybody else was dirty. You get killed if you didn't do it.
So you did this while you were in the military?
That's correct. You better do it or you end up dead.
What do you mean you end up dead?
That's how gangs operate, bro. If you don't go with the flow, then they see that you're not with that program. They find ways to get rid of you. You could have an accident. You get fragged. You could have an accident on the flight line. Speed brakes can slam your head. I've seen it. People have accidents all the time. Oh, come on, bro.
Why you feel so comfortable talking about this?
Because you asked me.
This
it's
is
on my
crazy.
It's on my podcast. It's on my podcast, bro. It's on my podcast. But the mainstream media is not going to tell you what I'm telling my people because I'm on media blackout. They don't want you to know the truth. They just want me to be that villainous guy that said some fucked up shit that was a lie on Grey's Anatomy. That's more to me than that. I've been telling my brothers like you for years. Look, we got to get our ish together. That thing they went after Ice Cube. It's disheartening. It's horrible. This brother don't have. He has
about
enough
the platinum
money.
plan.
Yeah, he have enough money and time to not say anything. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say other names of powerful people that ain't saying anything. But he stepped out there cold-blooded and said, "Look, I ain't checking for Trump. I ain't checking for Biden. I'm checking for my people. And our people, because we're trained, attacked him." I mean, what kind of shit is that? That's crazy to me, man.
So you've been an open, I don't know if I call you Trump supporter or Republican supporter, but
no, I'm a Frederick Douglass Republican, always have been without a home. And the only reason I became a Republican is because of the First Step Act. You got a rich white man letting black people, poor white people, and poor Latino people out of federal prison for doing 40 years and 20 years and 30 years for a first-time offense for a survivor crime. Yeah, I'm gonna get behind that policy, man. Ain't no president ain't let no Negroes out of no prison and then give them a job at Walmart. Who can't get behind that? The only problem is the Republicans don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to get connected with the culture because there are a lot of racists in the Republican Party, but there's a lot of racists in the Democratic Party. This two-party system's got to go. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I may be a libertarian next year. You know what I'm saying? If Trump doesn't get back in, which he will, then I ain't really getting down with the Republicans because they're no different than any other elites. These people don't care. They want the rich and the poor. They don't care about you. I live in a $3 million house. These people don't talk to me. My neighbors don't talk to me. They're jealous. They don't want me in their neighborhood. They don't want to see me. They don't want to look how I'm living because it says to them that, damn, they need to work harder or, they're uncomfortable.
Chris Rock was like, man, I'm like the top comedian in the world and my neighbor's a white dentist.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And they jealous, man. I mean, the human species is a jealous species, envious species. So I can't really just say it's racism all the time. It's just the human species are just jealous, envious, bitter people. So when somebody like crabs in a barrel, you don't just look at black people when you say that, you look at all people. I tell people all the time, look, if you don't have as much money in a bank as you have followers, you ain't winning.
That's a good point.
If you got 100 followers on Instagram and Twitter, you got 200 followers, and you don't have $200, you doing something wrong.
So you are, and I agree with that. Financial literacy is huge. I think that financial literacy should be like a mandate in education, period.
Well, it's going to be hard. How are you going to expect these people to educate you financially when they don't want you there? Racism is based on a competition for resources. Mm-hmm. That's all a racism is.
Even if it's just budgeting,
they don't want you
compound interest.
Look,
I mean,
we live in a country where we were being lynched and killed just to learn how to read, bro.
Yeah.
So you're expecting the same mindset. Well, they're not racist. They're scared.
It's interesting.
Look at Tiger Woods. Look, they made the golf courses longer. Whatever we touch, we excel at because we're in kings and queens. Civilization was created by us, man. They know this. They know more about us than we know about us. So we keep getting tricked and thinking that they're racist. They're not racist. They're not racist. They're jealous. They're jealous and they're scared that you are going to look. If I get with a Caucasian woman, that child is going to be African American. It ain't going to be the other way around. They know that. Fear of the black, you know what.
So you feel that Donald Trump is doing more to help than the Biden-Harris ticket?
Hey, bro. Hey. 94 crime bill is what got me out of New York, right? I was doing well. I made money. So I was wearing my Timberland boots. I was wearing my Kangols. I was wearing my Applejack hats. I was dressing nice. You know, I looked like I was a drug dealer, you know, because everybody was a drug dealer in the 80s and the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you dress well, you were a drug dealer. If you dress well and you were an entertainer or an athlete, they didn't know who you were. The cops were going to kill you and ask questions later. That 94 crime bill was about enslaving us, bro. Fuck Biden and everybody that looked like Biden. You know what I mean? I ain't buying it, bro. It ain't even about Trump. It's about our Republican voting system right now, and that these people are telling you that this pimp that did nothing for black people, and this woman that says she was black today, and here in California arrested more black people than you could throw a stick at, and y'all trying to tell me they're gonna do something for black people when they get in the White House? Come on, man. I'm old enough to remember that these people are criminals, man. They're cops. They don't love us. There's a great word of Michael Jackson. Look what they did to Michael Jackson. Beatles finally got their catalog back. Look what they did to Prince. Nobody's exempt. They'll tell you quick, hey, man, hey, Joshua, you too big for your britches. We got to cut you down. And what that means is that's racist. That's plantation talk. If you're getting too big for your britches.
You know, is there, like when you see other black folks, are there any black people that are in a position to affect change? You know, so no, okay.
No, and the ones that are afraid, and they have reason to be. They have reason to be afraid. You talk about a system and a global system and gangsters that killed JFK because he didn't do what they wanted him to do over money. You got people right there in Chicago killing each other for less. You feel me? So any criminal is going to try to wipe out the competition, right? That's how it goes. So anytime you step out of line, yeah.
I wasn't thinking that you was going to go in this direction based off of
tell the truth.
Well, when you think of a typical person that is supporting Trump, you don't think you're going to go to the
I'm not just support.
You know what I mean?
I'm not supporting Trump. I was in New York when he was in New York, and everybody was loving Trump, and he was like, he could have been a black man. You feel me?
Yeah.
The media. If you listen to the mainstream media right now, you're a fool. They're lying. Okay.
So mainstream media being what?
The best thing about Trump is that he had hotels, bro. You need to watch my movie Trump Card. You know, it's on iTunes. Or, I got another movie coming out this week called Trump versus Hollywood. And I break it down like this so it's forever broke. Trump was loved when he was making money and he wasn't telling people secrets of what they were really doing in his hotels. You see it? When he stepped away from Jeffrey Epstein, he said he let all the perverts and all the pedophiles know, shit, am I next? Is he gonna tell? Like, you do some dirt with somebody, right? Or you do a bad deal, right, with the insurance company. Everybody on an insurance company expect you to cover their back if they do something dirty. They don't expect you to go to and report them, right? Trump becoming the president, he know all their secrets. He ain't dying on nobody because he's a classy guy, believe it or not. He's not a kiss and tell guy. But the problem is, if you're doing wrong, you'll have to be accountable for that. Help the people. America first. Enough of these wars. You ain't seen no dead bodies coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan every week. When Obama was in office for 8 years, every week, every day, you saw dead bodies with flags on the caskets. You don't see that right now. And nobody's giving that dude that credit. You got people that are poor that had no other choice but to go join the military. They couldn't figure out how to be an insurance man or an actor or put a basketball in a hoop. So they're going to become a cop or they try to get a pension. Everybody's trying to survive, dog. Everybody's trying to have a piece of that American dream, not understand that the American dream is an American nightmare. Because if you're poor the rich don't want you to be rich because the rich let you be rich, Joshua. They can't be rich. They can't be special. Don't you understand how that works? They can't be special. Everybody's got to feel like I'm special. I don't want everybody wearing an Izod shirt because if you could afford the Izod, then I'm not special wearing. If you could afford to wear Nike, then I'm not special wearing Nike. You need to be wearing British Nikes, or you need to be wearing Adidas or Reeboks. You know, people put a lot of energy in optics. Okay, optics. We're one of the biggest consumers as a people in this country. We should have had our own political party 20 years ago with all the wealth of the athletes alone.
Black people.
If we were really not about tribalism and really about unity and coming together, we'd have had our own political party. We'd have our own nation 20 years ago. And nobody could do anything about it because why? We got the talent. We have the know-how. Just like during the Reconstruction era with the Republicans. Everybody, when slavery ended, most of the Caucasian people were illiterate and lazy. They couldn't even know they didn't know how to plant cotton. They didn't know how to like smelt iron. They weren't blacksmiths. The slaves were doing all that work, bro. So the American, economy was booming because of Black hands. We've lost our way. We've lost our way. We've given up our power by becoming consumers and relying on optics to show how we're gonna flex. You know, we flashing now. So I'm doing this, I'm driving this Ferrari. Everybody knows you can't do a Ferrari justice by driving from stoplight to stoplight. You burning up a bunch of gas, you're fucking up the goddamn atmosphere, and you can't even do a 200 miles an hour in the thing. So now you're paying all this money to get a service because it's breaking down because it's a race car. But it don't matter. You Black, I got a Ferrari like the white man got a Ferrari. But the white man ain't owning it, he leasing it.
So has this like recent 4 years since Trump been in office, and then your experience with Grey's Anatomy, has it changed how you move in Hollywood and how you choose projects?
I've been working outside as an independent outside of Hollywood. I got many projects. I'm a media blackout. So then they're gonna tell you I'm a runaway slave. My Mindy legacy is from the Amistad. I don't know how to listen. I'm like Toby. My name ain't Toby. It's Kuta Kinte, motherfucker. All right? You're not gonna make me say I'm something I am not. I know my history. I know my legacy. All right. I will die. I will go broke, and which I have 3 times to make sure I don't sell myself out that way. So Trump and me have a lot in common because we are now together exposed how the mainstream media and the left, when they decide they want you dead, you don't get up no more. They use their media, their big tech to lie on you. And like Goebbels said with the Nazis, if you tell a lie long enough, people will believe it. And the problem is our people, even today, when we had to be threatened with death to learn how to read, you can't make a Negro read something. He ain't got time. He can't even read a book. He don't have no time. He need an audio book. I mean, it's a perfect plan, man, with the public school system being horrible, deteriorated. The teachers' unions is gangster. The teachers' unions should be abolished, like the CIA, the FBI, and the Department of Justice. They're doing, let's talk about Black people. All right, they're doing us no service. This has been a plan that's been put in by Nixon since 1972 to take the Black fathers out of the home, to criminalize us, demonize us, any chance they get. Look what they did to Letitia Wright. Just talking about, this questioning vaccines. They tried to cancel her, man, made her close her Twitter down because Disney don't want to lose billions of dollars or potential billions of dollars with Black Panther 2 without our fellow Bison, Chadwick Boseman. Just greed, man.
Who do you consider mainstream media?
CNN.
What about Fox News?
Fox News, all of them lying to you, bro. I had a TV show
on both sides. They lying.
I had a TV show on Fox Nation. They came to me to do a travel cookie show to be the Black Anthony Bourdain because I had so many ethnic people and different people. It wasn't white enough for them, and so they think in their audience. See, you got executives that are white supremacists. You understand? They won't even admit to it. They don't want to see anything where they can't see themselves in power. You understand? Look at Elvis Presley. He was alive, bro. He was Vanilla Ice, bro.
Yeah.
This is not new. So when you understand you're dealing with a weak DNA, then you have to understand how a weak DNA is going to move. I'm tired of being angry or disappointed or shocked or surprised. I'm really sympathetic to people who have melanin. I really am. It's sad. I don't need to drink or take pills to go to sleep and then drink and take pills to wake up.
So how's the money been since that Grey's Anatomy thing?
It's been great because I get to keep it.
Yeah.
I don't have no agents and managers taking it 20% before I do it, and then another 35% in taxes. They don't want you to know that I'm an independent, because if I'm an independent conservative, they don't want you to figure it out. They need you to be beaten down so they can lie to you and tell you they're gonna make you the next Denzel, they're gonna make you the next Steve Harvey, and then so they in your pocket all the way up. As soon as you step out of line, say something they don't like, they're in your pocket with crisis management and publicists try to keep your brand strong all the way down. I done broke all those rules.
So where do you think black people should get their news from?
Stop calling themselves black, for one. Ain't nothing black on here but this goddamn sweater I'm wearing. See, that's the problem, because as long as you black, and people get pissed off with this, as long as you black, then that means you saying you're supreme. And if you're black, they got to be white. So that's going to make them say they supreme. That's how that works. If I'm black, somebody got to be white. Somebody got to be brown. Somebody got to be red. Somebody got to be yellow. And they ain't nothing but colors. Even Kendrick Lamar on his album that he won a Pulitzer Prize for, it says, I ain't a black. Black is a crayon. It's a color. I'm an Israelite. People don't know their history. Even ain't nobody cussing, ain't nobody canceling Kendrick Lamar. He don't consider himself a black man anymore. See, black was cool with James Brown. That's all we had. We had black power on God. Black Lives Matter meant something. But if black is so important, why are we still getting George Floyd's? If black was so powerful, why are we still being disrespected? If black had so much power, why are we still broke? If black was so meaningful, why are we still being treated like shit? If the color of being black in America was so good, why white people don't want to be black? They want our music, they want our culture, but they still go get the head of the line because they look what we keep telling them they white, and they ain't. They apricot or they pink.
What are your thoughts on the Black Lives Matter movement today? What do you think about it?
I know Patricia Cullors. You know, we used to talk all the time. We don't talk no more. I knew Opal Tometi when they were doing it right. We had a lot of problems with police brutality. A lot of F stuff going on, man, killing people, killing our sisters and brothers and getting away with it, no accountability. When it started off right here in California, it was great. With DeRay McKeeson and that Ferguson thing went down, which I'm doing a documentary on Darren Seal's life. Black Lives Matter became a theme song for the gay community. So you got black gay people that want to be powerful like the white people. So they're gonna hook up with, Jack Dorsey for Twitter, and then they're gonna ride it out and make all this money. Why is DeRay McKeeson, he's worth $1.5 million, so they say, probably more than that. How is he walking around here with a blue jacket and he's rich? Doing what? What charter school? What facility? What recreation center that we need in the so-called black community? Where they at? You're mad at me because I made history, becoming the first human being and the first African-American man to get a dual citizenship based on my DNA, which you cannot take. Do you know if the slaveholders could have taken our DNA, that we've been completely disconnected from our people on the motherland? We're the only people in America that do not have a mainland to go to. If they tell you, Biden, and 6 months later, all you black ass people get out of America, get up out of here. You don't like it here? Bye. Where are you going to go? You can't get a ticket to black. Every immigrant here from Venezuela, even Jamaica or West Indian, they ain't black. They don't even call themselves black. They're Trinidadian, they're Jamaican, they're Haitian, they're Puerto Rican, they're Cubanos, they're Cuban. They're everything but black. The African diaspora ain't gonna help you. Africans in Africa so busy speaking the elocution, proper elocution of the English language that they ain't gonna help you. They're English.
So you're 100% against the Harris and Biden. You don't identify with anything they have to say.
I don't.
Well, you don't trust it.
I know. Look, Karen Bass is a friend of mine. If Karen Bass, if Kamala was serious, she would give up a Senate seat, and we wouldn't be threatened to have Gavin Newsom, who's a knucklehead, to take the Senate seat from Kamala Harris. Why hasn't she resigned her Senate seat? If she's so sure that she's the vice president-elect, why hasn't she retired her Senate seat? She should have done that. She had so much confidence. She should have did that 2 weeks ago. She's still a senator, bro. She even know it's a lie. She's going to have a major $30 million book deal when she loses. Right? It's all a lie, man.
When she loses what?
She ain't going, man, they ain't going into the White House, man. He getting ready to hit the executive order, man, that he put out in 2018. This has been some national serious interference, election interference to challenge our republic. This has nothing to do with Trump. This has something to do with fraud, voting fraud that
Well, all
has
of those
impacted
states
this
have
country.
certified.
No, they're not. No. The state legislatures haven't done it. The state legislatures could overrule the governors in all those states. They're not. The media is not going to tell you that. They could overrule those. They got dueling electors right now. It ain't over, fam. It ain't gonna be over. It's just getting started. Come January 26th, you will see Trump in the White House for another 4 years, and COVID is gonna be here until 2024. COVID gonna be around until Trump Jr. get in the White House. Trump's gonna be around. They're gonna be lockdowns and burning. And people gonna be burning shit down for the next 8 years, bro. They got caught. Even McCain was dirty. Even Republicans were dirty. Even Mitch McConnell probably is dirty. And Lindsey Graham is probably dirty. You need to follow Sidney Powell. You need to follow Lynn Wood. These are federal attorneys that know what's going on. They're getting ready to lock down those Dominion voter things, baby. Ain't nobody getting inaugurated that's named Biden. The man has dementia, bruh. You gonna tell me, oh, you hate Trump so much. He has done so much bad to you. I always say to black people, if Trump has hurt you so bad, then sue him. Sue him. What has Trump done to you? What has Trump done to you in these 4 years to stop you from having this show? What has Trump come to you and say, fuck you, nigga, to your face? No.
Not to my face.
The media got you thinking I'm homophobic, and I'm not. So I'm telling you, bro, you've been lied to, man. And I'm so glad for Trump. He ain't a perfect person. He's made so many mistakes that he has exposed himself and the media. They're so busy trying to take him out. They're not telling the truth. Fox News, CNN, none of them. They're lying because they don't care about the people. I care about the people. So I'm closer to the people than anybody else. I've been broke 2 times. And the last time they took my money from me. You see what I'm saying? Over what? Free speech? Come on, man. This is not a game, bro. This is not a game.
You talking about the Grey's Anatomy thing?
Of course, the thing, whatever it is, it's all bullshit. You know what I mean? If I'd knew what I knew now,
because that was basically you and him.
If I'd knew what I knew now, when I was assaulted by Patrick Dempsey, I would have just walked off the set, and then I would have got my $20 million. Because when you get fired, you get severance pay. I wasn't fired. They waited 8 months. Now, how you gonna be a so-called black man, bad man, gonna go back to the scene of the crime for 8 months? That's a liability. Disney don't like bad news or bad press.
So they kept you on the show for 8 months, and then you
don't go, bro. If I do a crime, you don't get to go back to the scene of the crime and work for 8 months and get a paycheck for 8 months.
And you guys were cool. I thought you guys were cool after the incident.
We were.
And then that girl. And then
we were. But Perez Hilton had to make a name for himself. Look, other people that enrich themselves, they have to use our black skin, bro. To them. They have to kill us off for them to feed. They have to kill us off for them to win. See, that's what I've been telling people for years. It's not even about me. Look around you. Look what's really going on. Look what they choose to tell you 24 hours a day on that TV. I don't watch TV, bro. I haven't watched a regular news TV show or regular TV. I watch Apple TV since 2010. It's a lie. And thank you to the glory be to God that Trump is so controversial that he has shown the world how the mainstream media is lying to all of us.
So let me ask you this. When you hear these things, so when we see these things about, number one, Trump knew about COVID, but he chose to focus on the economy.
No, that's not true. Stop that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
That's what he said.
I had COVID, probably had COVID back in November, bro. It's a lie. It's just a flu. It ain't gonna kill you. The average person that died from COVID is 78 years old. Is COVID real? Can you catch it? Yeah, just like you catch a common cold. Or if you're healthy, you're gonna deal with it. Look, Trump has had COVID. He ain't dead. Donald Trump has COVID. Jennifer Ellis has COVID. Kim Garfield, Rudy Giuliani, all got COVID. They're not dead because we hydroxychloroquine. They just came out and said that it works. This is all political theater, bro. To try to hurt Trump, to get you to hate this man. Trump ain't done nothing to us wrong. I just told you the First Step Act, which they didn't do a good job to let you know he letting black people out. He got people
what about those Bob Woodard tapes when Trump acknowledged COVID in February and kind of brushed it under the rug and said he wanted to
He
focus
could.
on the
He was
economy.
being impeached. Joshua, don't be illiterate, bro. He was being impeached. Nobody was talking about it. They were busy trying to impeach him for Biden's crimes. So, I mean, you think that if you're trying to change the world and actually help Americans, that he probably knew of it, but guess what, homie? It was Fauci that he was listening to. And Fauci is in bed with Bill Gates, who ain't no scientist, ain't no doctor. Is pushing this Moderna vaccine. He's about eugenics. His wife he wants to test all the black people on government assistance. They've already tried it out in Tennessee. Nobody noticed that anybody that's on WIC, anybody that's living in Section 8 homes are going to get the vaccine first. They don't give a shit if they're going to die. They want you out of here. You need to go watch The 100, bro. I did a show about this called The Culling. There's too many people on the planet. So who do they think they want to get off the planet first? Who are the most powerful, potent DNA on this planet that need to get off first that are white supremacists? You. And poor white people and poor Latinos. You don't see no East Indians, no Native Americans, and no Chinese marching in the streets for nothing.
Man.
Where are they? If America's so bad, where are the Czechoslovakians, the Russians, the Polish, all the immigrants that own 4 or 5 businesses, the Iranians that are in America, the Japanese, why aren't they part of Antifa? Why are they part of Black Lives Matter? Because Black lives don't matter to them, because they got theirs, because they stick together like the Koreans. Where the Koreans at? They ain't marching. Why are we still marching? Well, we're marching because we're stupid, collectively speaking, and we're emotional, we're politically illiterate, and we listen to fuck shit.
So what should we be doing?
Stop listening to the news and listen to your heart. Listen to facts. Listen to common sense. We have not been on this planet this long creating a civilization being stupid.
But how can you expect black people to follow Trump when he won't denounce white supremacy? You know,
he did. Stop it.
I mean, not initially.
He did denounce it. He got rid of Roger Stone, and he got Richard Bannon that used that dog whistle shit to get him in the White Office because he thought that's what the people wanted. He already acknowledged that thing that went down in Charlottesville. He did that.
He had a hard time. In the Charlottesville thing, he said find people on both sides.
Of course he did, but he also denounced the white supremacists that were there. But they didn't tell you that on CNN. Stop it, Joshua. Don't be on camera. Don't be on not being knowing your facts, bro. Especially talking to me, bro. Come on, don't do that, bro. You from Howard, bro.
I need you to go on Roland Martin's show.
No, I don't need to go to that punk ass. I don't need to. Roland was a best friend, and all he wanted was a true scoop of Grey's Anatomy. He's a biscuit eating, chasing, sellout Negro. I don't trust him because he's Haitian too. He's an immigrant. He just trying to get paid with his greasy ass hair and his damn crazy ass ascots. What black people walking around with ascots, bro? What black people walking around in the hood with ascots, bro? What black people walking? Look here, man.
How was your best friend?
Look here, bro. I got acquitted. Trump acquitted with a nappy afro, bro, and a beanie on my head, bro. And I walk around black neighborhood right here in Compton and South Central with it, and I get love. Let me see Roland Martin, who want me to be on the show to debate him. To spill out some bold lies? He's a shield, bro. You know how many people like him need Democrats to be in power because they know how to go and invest in the Poplar Plaza and residential businesses. The only reason he's supporting the Democrats because he don't know no damn Republicans. That also that's going to give him off the record information to build his foundational wealth. He ain't no FBA. He ain't no foundational black person in America. He don't care. He's a capitalist, just like anybody else. And I'll tell his punk ass that to his face.
And now your former best, y'all was best friends?
He wasn't no real friend. He was just pretending to be my friend. You know, the journalist. I remember smoking a cigar on Thanksgiving and wanted to say, hey, man, what really went down on Grace? I told you what went down on Grace. So you took the DNA test, you up in my house using profanity in front of my kids on Thanksgiving Day, cursing like a sailor, talking about how you effing your wife in front of my kids. Man, you're a pervert, dude. That's poor behavior, man. That's not behavior of becoming of the person that he presents himself to be when he's on camera. Just like Don Lemon. Everybody's actors, bro. They're bad actors, man. And people got the nerve to be mad at me because I'm a good actor. But when I speak the truth, then I'm a bad person because in my real life, I ain't afraid to speak truth to power.
So, okay. So you say those things about him and his wife, but what about all the stuff that Trump did to these women? I mean,
look here, man. What have you done? You married?
Yes.
What have you been faithful to your wife? 100%. And if you sit there and say you have or have not, you stupid, because that's your personal business. That's your personal business. What does personal business have to do with you being a good insurance agent?
No, we talking about sexual harassment though. All those allegations.
You've been a perfect human being your whole
I've never sexually harassed any women.
Oh, you ain't never been mad because a woman didn't want to dance.
And we're not talking about me. We're talking about Trump.
No. If we're gonna talk about personal stuff, then we got to talk about. That's how it works.
I'm not running for president. I'm not.
But apparently we got a lot. What about Obama and all his gay relationship, homosexuality?
Ain't nobody about that.
Well, it's all over the internet. Stop lying.
Come on, man.
All over the internet.
You making up
stuff.
Go.
Oh, come on, man. If you want to be that dude, then we can end this interview, bro. We can end this interview. I don't have to waste my time. If you want to be that dude, I'm gonna tell you what. I
haven't heard it.
No, because you don't want to hear it, and they're not gonna tell you. I tell you, watch Trump Card. It's on iTunes. If you don't want the truth, bro, that's cool. That's cool. But I'm gonna tell you what. You need to really understand the 12th Amendment. You need to understand the Constitution. You need to understand the power of state legislatures. You need to understand what's coming down with this executive order that came out in 2018. You need to understand that this man has done nothing. All right? Damn what he did 30 years ago. We ain't talking about Biden sticking his finger up someone's coochie on the Senate floor. So why are you asking me questions about Trump and you don't want to talk about your personal shit?
Well,
that ain't got nothing, but your Biden's supposed to become president. And what about the woman that came out and said that? What about Hunter Biden? You want to talk about personal stuff? Then we can do that in this interview all day. But that doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. But Trump doesn't have sons that have done business with our enemies in China. But nobody wants to talk about that because the media has got you hating Trump, and you have reason. He's made a lot of crazy comments because he's a real dude. That's why he's not a politician. Politicians are professional liars, money grabbers. And his biggest crime is speaking truth to power, keeping it 100, just like you do, just like I do. So if we sitting up here waiting on the facts to come out from CNN or Fox News, MSNBC, when they have been exposed for lying on this man, come on, man, they're exposed on Obama, his personal business. This is not, a lot of this stuff is just not hearsay, but they have a thing what they call plausible deniability. Any high elected official has more than what we have. We got plausible deniability. Even Reagan had, I cannot recall, when he was caught red-handed with the Iran-Contra situation. This is how it works. We probably had election fraud with Reagan. We probably had election fraud with George W. Bush. This goes deeper than Trump, bro. This is not about Trump for me. This is about our political system, period. If we let this thing go like it's gonna go down, damn, with Trump, we're no different than a third world country. We can't point at Africa and be mad at anybody else who's doing crazy stuff where the people don't have a say in who they want to be our leaders. Then what's the point of having a popular vote? And to be real about it, what does 80 million votes supposedly for Biden and 75 million supposedly, but the people are not deciding who the president is going to be in the end anyway. The state legislatures are and going to take it to the Senate, and the Senate are dominant. That's why they're fighting so hard for these 2 senators in Georgia, and they ain't going to win because the Senate is going to put Trump in for another 4 years. Why? To make sure they don't get hit for their crimes. No, this is about political criminal behavior beyond Trump. Trump is just I'm not saying a useful idiot, but through the grace of God, he is coming at the right time for us to finally, as a people, get our political system right, our voting system right. It's no longer about Trump. It's no longer about what he grabbed, he said he did. And if that is the case, why hasn't he been indicted? He's been in there for 4 years.
You think Bill Cosby was guilty?
He's in jail. Because he had real people in real cases that proved that he was not innocent. Those no women have come in to prove that this man is guilty of sexual harassment. Where are the indictments? You can't get away from real people that got real. Harvey Weinstein is in prison. He couldn't even get away from it. How can Trump get away from it?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Trump was on tape talking about grabbing them in their pussy and saying stuff like that.
I've been on tape saying a lot of locker room crazy stuff as a man. Don't hit me with that, bro. You smarter than that. That's a private conversation. And during the debate, he was embarrassed by that, said he was embarrassed by that, and that was it. When he was debating Clinton, he said he was embarrassed by that. So you don't sit here and tell me that politics is not a dirty game. Come on, man.
No,
Okay, I tell you, since you want
definitely dirty, man.
Since you all about Trump, he been in for 4 years. You say he hasn't done anything, then you tell me exactly what the hell Biden. What has Biden done for black people in 47 years? Tell me that, champ. Tell me, because I was a victim of the '94 crime bill. I was a victim of it.
What happened?
I escaped prison because of false identity, because they needed black bodies in prison, prison pipeline. Okay. So you can't tell me, ain't nothing you can tell me good about Biden, bro. He's been in office for 47 years. What has he done for you? What has he done for black communities? What has he done for any black person that's died at the hands of a police officer? Has he even buried anybody? Has he donated money? Has he created memorials? What has Biden done, homie? Who has Biden let out of federal prison? Who is Biden pardoned?
You know, because we were talking about Roland Martin and you brought that up, that's why I brought up Trump. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Like when you see that stuff,
and I told you,
how does it land on you?
And I told you, people, look, politics about people making their foundational wealth, son. Politicians are just ugly people that are the ugly people that can be in Hollywood. That's what they say. They want to be rich and famous, bruh. You want to be rich and famous. It's not an American in America that don't want to be rich and famous. Why? Because white supremacy, Hollywood, TV, and movies tell you so, and videos.
To stay on Trump, I mean, even like his business dealings. I mean, horrible.
What do you know about what do you know about his business dealings?
I mean, look at his casino, flop, bankrupt, never paid the investors back, Trump University, you know, all of those stuff, all of those things in his business history.
So bad business decisions and deals that have gone bad is a crime in America on a capitalist society.
It's not a crime, but it does say something about leadership ability.
Look here, son. I got a letter that I posted on my Instagram. Came from Senator Biden, from a company called Recover Metrics, because he made a bad investment in trying to invest in wood, the hardest wood in the world, in Liberia. When he didn't get what he wanted, that company promised me $5 million if I would go to Sierra Leone and say the diamonds are good. It's business, son. All the politicians got their hands in all kinds of business because they're trying to. Why is it? Why is it? Everybody's hating on Trump for how he's made his money. Good deals, bad deals, filing bankruptcy, which is it's not a crime. You can do that. I can do that anytime, all the time with businesses, LLCs. That's a crime, and that's bad. That's a blight on him. But yet, nobody's questioning how is it that Republicans and Democrats are all over multi-millionaires.
No, I agree with that. I'm not saying I'm pro Biden or anti-Trump.
No, let's look. No, but let's unpack that. No one's questioning how is it that people are supposed to be working for the people, really working for the people. Their districts are in shambles, but they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
I totally agree.
Nobody hopping mad about that.
Totally agree. I mean, the governor of Illinois.
All our tax dollars are going to get our kids educated. And Biden in Vermont, these people talk about they voted for him, and I got black people all over Vermont that say, "Oh, damn, they're illiterate." So where did the money go, bro? Well, how did he's worth $150 million in 47 years, and you're not? But have you spent any time on what he has done right with his policies on a free platform, whitehouse.gov, and his policies?
Absolutely. I'm a business owner, so taxes, you know, I think it was his second year in office. That was great. Obviously, money for HBCUs was great.
There you go.
The First Step Act was great.
And
the opportunity zones.
And making it a federal offense to the burn down black churches. See, what the Republicans are horrible at, because they don't care either. The GOP, they don't care either. Yeah, I said it. I will be a Republican next year. I'm only Republican because of Trump. Okay, as soon as he's out of office, I'm done. I'm full on libertarian. People were mad at me because I didn't vote for Trump. People don't even want to talk about that. I made more press not voting for Trump. More black people were mad at me when I voted for Jill Stein and not Hillary Clinton than they are mad about me supporting Trump because of his policies.
Well, a lot of black organizations, they start, you know, with the right idea in mind, and then they start getting funding.
Follow the money. And what happens when you're not being, no oversight, and people are getting millions of dollars coming straight into their GoFundMe, and nobody's looking around, what do you think they're going to do? Are they really going to give it to the people, or are they going to skim off a little for themselves so they can justify it and go, hey, hey, man, I got to get mine. Have you heard that before?
Absolutely.
How many times have you heard that in our community? Hey, man, hey, look, you got yours, man. I got to get mine, homie. I got to get mine. So this is the penalty of free thinkers becoming greedy. This is the penalty that we all suffer as melanated people. It's when you give up the ghost and get selfish and go, I got to get mine. We got Koreans coming from Korea, Japanese coming from Japan, Iranians coming, everybody coming from others, truly socialist companies, East Indians, building empires, and within 10 years and 400 years later, with all of our innovation and all of our know-how in the music, we don't control any of our wealth. Whose fault is that?
But we've been systematically oppressed, though.
We know that story. We've known this since 1960.
And those other cultures, they can trace back their heritage, so they got built-in cultural norms.
Exactly. You have African ancestry. I wrote the damn book about it, but nobody wanted to buy it because they thought I was homophobic. So they believed everybody, so no one bought the book. And they burned 3,000 copies of it because they'd see I was trying to change your mind. You see.
What's the name of the book?
A Man from Another Land.
Oh, that's the same. That's your website.
Yeah, on Amazon.com. You don't know anything about it because I'm a freedom fighter, bro. I'm a freedom fighter. I made history, becoming the first human to get a dual citizenship. So I have a mainland to go to. I may not want. I ain't gonna do bad in Sierra Leone, but I have with the ECOWAS. I could do business without a visa in 12 other countries through ECOWAS. I could make money on the continent. I don't even really have to be here. My name is Chief Gundabeh Mangada II in that world. I have a mainland to go to like the other immigrants. You don't. They take your American passport. Do you have another one?
No.
So you have to ask yourself, why are you enslaved? And I'm not. If we can't get it right, if we can't speak with love and understanding and understand the legacy and the history of this nation, going to the Harvard, the Black Harvard, and who's going to do it? Hampton?
You crazy.
Clark?
You fouled for that one, man. So tell me, man, what's the legacy of Isaiah Washington, man? 100 years from now, what are we saying about you?
He spoke for the truth. He loved his people so. Like Isaiah the prophet in 66 chapters, he got dogged out, disrespected, and all he wanted to do was speak the gospel of the love of God. And that's all I'm doing. Speaking the truth from the love of the gospel of my people, our melanated people. We were peoples, bro. We're Mende, Hausa, Igbo, okay? Yoruba, Fulani. We're peoples. We ain't no niggas. We ain't black. We ain't colored. We ain't coons. We were peoples. We were peoples. And even some of our peoples lost their way because of capitalism and greed and sold us over here. And we were peoples that were already here, the Californians. You Google the Californians with a K, they all are melanated people. And you look up the original definition of American, it says people that are copper colored. We've been on American soil. We've been indigenous people here long before chattel slavery. We've been everywhere. We're people that went everywhere. I need to write my next book called I'm Out. Because the only reason we've always all over the world, because one Negro didn't want to listen to somebody else. Somebody wanted to be the HNIC. That's why we are where we are. Because somebody wants to be the head Negro in charge. Don't want to be a follower. We can't come together to save our lives, but if we don't do it now in this 21st century, 21 years into the 21st century, we don't get it together in the 21st century. You know how many people want me to run for president? And yes, I would be the first Black president, the first FBA in the White House, for real.
What's FBA stand for again?
Foundational Black Americans. Okay? And we're indigenous people. We're indigenous and we're also the first immigrants through illegal laws. Slavery was a law. Don't make it a good law. A lot of people, 600,000 people had to die to break that law. And then we had other races in the Democratic Party that did not want us to be competitors. And they systematically got us out of the Republican Party that we created in the name of Frederick Douglass. I'm a Frederick Douglass Republican, by the way. I just haven't had a home. The only reason why I became a Republican is because of Trump making so much noise. It gives me an opportunity to have this kind of real talk conversation. Frederick Douglass is my heart. He is the way. Give me the bullet or the ballot. Period. But I'm going to be a free man. This is my land. This is my country. And we are so fractured. Got to get mine. Got to get mine. That we don't even care, collectively speaking. I care. I know you care. Why is that? Why is that? It's not enough to tweet against Trump for saying some fuck shit. Right? It ain't about him. It's about us. And what I saw that our own people did to Ice Cube, that's when I said, oh man, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're in deep kimchi, man. We're in deep. If you're going to shut down, if you're going to talk about black culture being black, Ice Cube can't be no blacker. He's NWA. He can't get no blacker. Straight Outta Compton made almost $1 billion and he don't have an Oscar. You can't get no blacker than Ice Cube. So when he got attacked by our so-called own people, man, I was like, okay, let me focus on my Bass Reeves movie, man. Let me just put my head down and focus on mine, okay?
Why did that have such a big impact on you?
Because I know his heart and I know what he has risked to help free our minds with his music. It's a genius. Look at all his movies. Are we there yet? He's made millions of dollars in a system that didn't respect him. They just only saw him as a rapper. They just wanted his black audience. And then for the black people to turn on him for stepping out and just saying, I'm trying to help, I'm not rocking with Biden or Trump, and they still shut him down, then I don't know if that's CIA or FBI, but I refuse to believe that our own people could be that ignorant when somebody is genuinely trying to change. But we killed Malcolm X too, didn't we? Didn't we?
We did.
Because somebody blackmailed us or told us to. We killed Fred Hampton, didn't we? We want a Messiah, and then there's some turncoat SOB sells us out and killed us. We killed, sold out Nat Turner, didn't we? The question is why? You're lying. You truly are a greedy, low-life capitalist pretending to be a black man or woman. Just admit it. You don't really care about us. You only care about yourself. Check out on social media too about how Biden was talking to the civil rights leader recently. It was like, don't ask me for anything, man. Let's focus on this. I do talking to him crazy, just like Obama talked to him crazy and said, I'm not a black president. I'm the president of the United States. He big pimping already. Don't come up here and ask me for anything. And you gonna take these vaccinations. And if you don't, you're going back to prison because that's all Kamala Harris is about. She's a cop, attorney. She gonna find a way. You breaking the law. She put a lot of kids for truancy, mothers in jail because they couldn't afford to keep their kids and kids, or they weren't educated enough to stay on top of their children. They had no fathers in the homes. That's the Biden-Harris ticket, bro. If you want that, which you're not gonna get, not in America that I know, not the U.S. Constitution that I know, Constitution that I'm aware of, just say thank you to me. And I'll say, you fucking welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Isaiah Washington, Grey's Anatomy, Strictly Business, Crooklyn, unapologetically.
Get on the bus. And remember, I was canceled. When I played a gay character. Everybody, even Al Sharpton, everybody was on the radio like another princess bit the dust. He's playing the FAG. Hey, I've been canceled by my own people, man, so many times. And black people didn't help Love Jones make any money. It made $13 million. Black people didn't want to go see it.
That was a classic, man. That movie was a classic.
20 years later, it didn't make any money in the theaters, bro. If that was so good, why didn't
I
we go to
saw it
Love
when it
Jones
came
too?
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were one of the educated ones. I made it for you. I made it for you,
that
but
soundtrack was dope too.
yeah, but for another class of people that is not as informed as you, bro, by a bad public,
You know what? I want to ask you
system.
though. Yeah, your time at Howard, man. You said at Howard in '87, you said the whole football team was gay.
That's right. That's what I was told. I can't prove it, but that's what one of my gay friends, I'm not gonna tell his name, he said he was sleeping with the whole offensive line.
Oh man.
But what's wrong with that, man? Look, let me be real here. Our sexuality has no boundaries. I'm gonna say this one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Our sexuality, our love for one another and sexuality has no boundaries and no perversion. It was only perverted by those who have perverted thoughts and a mindset. We have loved each other in numerous ways, privately. It's only been perverted by religions that was enforced on us. You look at African ceremonies, and there are many boys that turn 13 have to have anal sex with the chief. And that's been going on for centuries. The question is, who used us to put us on the front line to make what we do privately and sexually perverted? How many gay people like Zora Neale Hurston and Countee Cullums and Arnold Bontemps, and possibly Langston Hughes, that have given us all these great works, and they were gay, and James Baldwin, and they were gay. Are they not beautiful? Are they not beautiful because of who they choose to have sex with?
No, that's not. It's just that when I heard it, that was funny. When you said
I know. But what I'm saying, I want to unpack that a bit. Is that again, we have to stop being used for other ethnicities' agendas. And the reason we get used is because, collectively speaking, we don't know who we are. And that's what I wrote that article. Like, if you don't know where you come from, you ain't gonna know where you're going. I know where I come from now. I have a mainland to point to, whether I survive or not. I have a mainland to point to and a people to point to. The Mindi Timni people on my mother's side, and 100% Mbundu to the people in Angola who've been begging me to move to Angola for the last 10 years.
When you got the citizenship there, did you have to pay for that?
No. It was a gift.
Okay.
Because the president at the time was hoping that the rest of African Americans would get excited about it and do the same thing, so we can be a part of the political system and also be able to own land. I have land that I have 6,000 acres in Sierra Leone, bro.
6,000?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up with the invite, man? Let me know. Let me know, man.
Hey, I've been
talking about the conflict diamonds are, man, over there.
But see, they got it on lockdown by the English. We can't even touch the diamonds because, the England controls Sierra Leone. That's why we can't get anything done, because, Tony Blair still is king in Sierra Leone, the English. Now, the only thing you get anything done is the Americans control Liberia, and they're not even doing anything for Liberia, but they're taking all the wood out and making millions and millions of dollars off of it because it's the hardest wood in the world. Don't you know that the whole war in Sierra Leone wasn't about blood diamonds? It was about them getting access to the wood. All those hotels in Tahiti and all over the world that are sitting floating in the water, and that wood, those pines pillars never rot, comes out of Liberia and then is treated in the Polynesian areas, and everybody's making millions and millions of dollars off of Liberian wood. That's what Senator Biden came at me. When I went to Sierra Leone, he was all up my behind. I posted the letter he wrote to me and misspelled my name. It's on my Instagram page. I was going to give him $10,000 when he was running for president. I was the only so-called black man in the room, and he had his ass in my face for 2 hours. Never even looked at me. I put my checkbook back in my pocket, and I was invited by former Governor Jim Brown. Why? Because I was the head Negro in charge on the #1 show in America at the time. Biden didn't even look my way, bruh. And I had a $10,000 check in my hand. I talk about this on my Instagram.
How did it feel to be, just backing up? Because I do want to ask, how did it feel to be in that position on Grey's Anatomy at the time? Was that like
I was busy. I was working like a dog and treated like crap. Me and Sean.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was so racist at the time. You talk about 2005, man. They would throw me in my mail. I had mildew in my. I talk about. You could Google Houston Chronicle article back in 2006 that they did with Houston Chronicle, and you could read all about it.
They treated Shonda Rhimes bad too.
Oh man, she was undermined. That's why you think she's at Netflix now. Why do you not know? You know more about what I supposedly said at the Golden Globes, but nobody's still talking about how she's the first woman and the first African-American woman to make a history winning the Golden Globe ever for a 1-hour show. Why isn't that common knowledge? Because they don't want to empower.
I knew that.
Well,
but I didn't know all the other stuff you just said. I didn't know that.
When I meet you, Joshua, I'm gonna beat you behind because you know this shit because you're a bison, so you better know half of this.
Yeah,
some of the stuff you just
I know half of the stuff you're talking about.
Some of the stuff you just saying because you need to get the show on for your audience, but you know better. You know better.
Hey, hopefully it'll be well received. But I got another interview right after this, so unfortunately we do got to wrap up. But I do want to thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're in your garage.
That's right. Yeah. It's my man cave, man. Yeah, I got my toys, my movie posters, and all. This is my office, and this is where I keep it going, man. But yeah, man, I stand by what I say. As you know, I'm passionate about what I say, and the facts are the facts, man. The president collectively have gotten all of us to supposedly help. I mean, hey, nobody's going to the website to look at all the good things that he has done that he has forced both parties to do that didn't want to do it. And for everything that he's supposed to have done so wrong, then what has been so right with Obama and Biden for the last 47 years? Nobody can answer that question, not even Roland. Have a good night, man.
Thank you for joining the HU Movemaker podcast, where we highlight folks that have contributed to the Howard legacy at the highest levels. To hear more interviews or purchase merchandise, please visit www.humovemakers.com.